What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Sorry it's been a few days since I saw you last, but I always want to bring you guys the content as I get it, and today I got the Hot Toys Doc Brown from Sideshow Collectibles. Now, honestly, I was kind of waiting for a while, and everybody else was getting their Doc, and there's been this divisive conversation about Doc in the 6-scale community, but for me, Back to the Future is one of the nostalgic parts of my childhood, and I cannot wait to have Doc Brown in my collection with the 6-scale setup in the back here. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on the figure. We're going to get him unboxed, take a better look at him. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's get into it.
Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future.
Back to the future.
Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future.
Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future.
Great Scott. Great Scott.
Okay, welcome back. I can't believe how many times they say Back to the Future in that film or set of films, but here we go. We've got Doc Brown from Hot Toys Collectibles in our possession, and I am truly excited about this one, guys. Let's get it out of the clamshell here and take a better look. Now, I did take it out of the clamshell at least to remove the plastic around the neck pegs and around the feet so you could get a bit better of a look right off the hop. And there he is, Doc Brown in his jumpsuit. What a cool looking piece right out of the box here. Now, this has created some controversy, this plutonium case that's made of a high density cardboard with plastic edges. And I gotta say, it looks beautiful, but it is extremely lightweight. But does it do the trick? Does it trick your eye into believing that Doc Brown is going to be standing there beside his plutonium case? I would say yeah, 100%. Now, this is one figure that I would absolutely recommend you look at the instruction manual on. Most of the time, for my Hot Toys figures, I just kind of figure it out. I just play with it until I get it into a pose or the accessories where I want them to be. But this tool belt is so extensive that I didn't want to put things in the wrong places, and this by far has some of the most accessories I ever have had in a 6-scale collectible. Now, the belt itself is a really lightweight, pleathery type material. I am a little bit worried about the longevity on it, especially some of these straps that hang down from the side. They feel really delicate, I'm not gonna lie, but the tools that go into this tool belt are so good. They're so well painted. They're not die cast, they are plastic. But again, does it fool the eye? 100%. And they just absolutely look badass in the tool belt once you get it all set up. Again, I used the instructions for reference. You probably don't need to, but I would recommend it because there's a lot of things like the tape hanging off the side there. I wouldn't have known where to put that if I hadn't looked, to be honest. But what do you guys think of this tool belt? In my opinion, this is easily one of the best inclusions of any Hot Toys figure I have. Like, that screwdriver even has the right bit on the end. Like, it's insane. Now, this is the pleathery type belt that wraps around the figure and actually holds this tool belt up, as well as kind of like a pack that he's got on the side for his radio communicator. I gotta say, this feels incredibly delicate. Like, to the point where I almost wish they'd sculpted it out of plastic, because I honestly think it's going to break. I'm so worried about even putting it on the figure. This is going to be one of those figures for sure for me that once it's on the figure itself, it stays there, period. I'm not going to futz with it at all because I definitely would be worried about degradation of that material. But I'm also loving some of the intricate details that we're seeing here with some of these other accessories. Like, look at this notepad. You got the yellow lines. It's a functional notepad, honestly. I mean, you could literally write in it if you wanted to, if you could write that small. Really, really well done, and it hangs off the pocket. Again, using the instructions for reference on where this should actually go. This is accurate based on the instructions. Now this clip also slots in over his pocket where you see the pens, and it'll hold a piece of paper that looks like a map on his chest. I wish the clip was functional because I did find it hard to slot this paper in without kind of bending the paper a little bit, and I'll show that to you on the figure here in just a second. But look how beautiful this map is. I think it's really well done. You can read it, it's amazing. And then the pens on the clipboard here that kind of slides into his pocket, the pen base you can see isn't present, but you don't need it to be because all you're really wanting to see are those pen tips slotted over top of the pocket itself. Let's get adjusted here so you can see it. There we go. Yeah, that looks really, really cool in the pocket there. And again, the clip slots onto the end piece here where you can stick that map underneath. Now, this I did have a bit of trouble with, though. I'm not going to lie, this is probably the most frustrating of the accessory pieces. Even slotting the belt onto the figure later is actually easier, in my opinion, than this particular clip, for whatever reason. But once it's on there, it does hold in place pretty well. I did bend it a little bit, as you can see, so again, not the end of the world. It just gives it kind of a more real-life look to the piece of paper. No piece of paper hanging off some dude's chest is ever going to be perfectly uniform, let's be honest. And we also does come with 2 separate wristwatches. I think you really honestly can decide what arm you want to put it on. I again followed the instructions for which hand to put it on. This hand has the radio stop clock around his finger, so he can press that. Pretty cool little function. Kind of reminds me of a Borg piece, to be honest, from Star Trek. But again, a very cool inclusion for the figure. I like that it actually wraps around the hand sculpt. And then this watch slots onto the other side. Again, you do have to remove the hands in order to slot it over the wrist peg, but I like that the fact that both watches truly hide the wrist pegs really, really well, because that outfit doesn't slide down over the pegs all that well. Now this to me I think is a calculator that slots into this pouch on the side of the belt as well. This is on the side of the figure on the right hand side, whereas the tool belt slots on the left side. This is also then this stopwatch that Doc puts around Einstein's neck, Einstein the dog of course, as he takes him through his little test drive at the beginning of Back to the Future 1, and I think this is really cool. I do love that they've included some of these pieces. Again, this radio antenna sticks into the bottom of the bag here. It actually stays in place pretty well, but is it a delicate piece? So I recommend just be really careful. Kind of once it's in there, just leave it. Just leave it. And so what I would say is put this around the Doc's neck first, then put the pouch on the belt, put the belt around the figure. Now this is a standout piece. I've heard people in the community complain that the buttons don't move or that the joysticks don't move, but to be honest, who cares? Like once it's in a display, I'm never going to touch that, and the detailing on this is insane, is absolutely insane. I absolutely love this accessory. It's exactly what stands out in my mind's eye when I think about the radio remote control for the DeLorean in Back to the Future 1. It makes me really excited to get that DeLorean actually in my collection, to have Doc posed up against it. Now here we go. We got the belt with the pouch and the tool belt all affixed to the figure. Make sure it sits up over his waist, and then once that's in place, again, that piece that's around Doc's neck, you can slot it into the pouch on the right hand side and it'll stay. So it looks really cool. It also eliminates some of the bagginess of the outfit, which I appreciate. And here we are, Doc Brown standing here looking pretty awesome, staring at his watch at least a little bit. This guy doesn't have the rolling eye system, which is a bit of a miss for me on this Doc Brown re-release. I do think if they'd given him the rolling eye system, it would have made his expression even that much more realistic. You could have him looking down more at his watch or to the side, and I think that always brings that lifelike look to the figure. This is the additional plutonium container that you can actually take out of the plutonium case. All the other pieces that you see there are affixed in place. You cannot take them out, but this one in particular, you can. So if you want to have Doc Brown taking a plutonium case out in order to load it into the DeLorean, you absolutely can do so. Now, of course, that would be the first generation DeLorean, not the second hover mode DeLorean that we're getting from Hot Toys next year. It also comes with this old school display base. It's nice, but it'll stay in the box. I typically don't display my figures with their display bases, so this is just a meh inclusion, but happy to have it and happy that it matches some of the previous Back to the Future aesthetic. It also comes with this clipboard as well as paperwork, which is beautifully done. You can read all the writing on it. It's a material safety data sheet, which is something I work with at work myself. I think it's impressive as hell. I understand that people are feeling a little disappointed by this release because of the head sculpt, and we'll get to that in a bit here, as well as that cardboard container. Fair enough. But honestly, I don't think this deserves some of the flack that it's getting this year, to be honest. It's still an amazing freaking release. I'm actually blown away by this figure, guys. These are two pieces that you don't want to throw out because the plutonium case does not stay open by itself. Just so you're aware, it does want to close. It also comes with some stickers. Now, the plutonium case has most of the stickers already on it. I thought I was going to have to apply them all, but that's not the case. So I'm actually leaving that sticker sheet in the box and not even going to touch it, and it still looks fantastic. You can see, though, that that plastic piece is holding the lid up, so that's really important. But now we're back to kind of the controversial part of this figure, and I think for me, it's the head sculpt for sure. I really wish that with this release, we'd gotten either a head sculpt that had the holes on the side of the head patched, or that this was an alternative look that was provided in addition to a different, more serious Doc face. It still looks good. It captures the essence of the character for me, which is exactly what I need in my collection. When I look at this guy on the shelf, it absolutely is Doc Brown, and based on the way that I pose the figure in my collection, I honestly am not even noticing the slits under the hair. It's a pain in the butt, for sure, but not a deal breaker. It's really not, guys. So that's maybe just me, that's my opinion, but I gotta say, this absolutely captures Doc Brown from Hot Toys that I wanted to see in my collection. I'm happy about it. If we ever get a 2.0 head sculpt release, I'll be happy about that as well. But what are your thoughts? Have you picked up this figure? Let me know in the comments down below. I really appreciate you guys watching and supporting my channel. If you liked the video, hit the like button for me. Smash the subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I will catch you guys on the next figure preview video. Thanks for watching, everybody.